Jedi Survivor has come an incredible long way, patched and patched over and over again since 2023. But there are some things which are not quite fixed and which raises the question, did EA finally give up on Jedi Survivor? Most recently, I returned to the galaxy far, far away, because I still believe that Star Wars Jedi Survivor has an incredibly high replay value. It is a really good game, it has a great story, and it has a fantastic gameplay. Yet EA doesn't quite fix the game yet for PlayStation 5 owners, Xbox Series X and S owners. Well, the most obvious, of course, is the graphics I'm talking about. You would think that EA have fixed everything by now. Instead, it seems that they were focusing more on the last generation, such as PlayStation 4 and Xbox owners, which is totally fine in my opinion. I think it's a great thing that they are still taking care of those gamers, because obviously there are a lot of people out there who play PlayStation 4 or on an Xbox One. That's a great thing, don't get me wrong, I really appreciate that move. It is great to see that they're still taking care of a wide audience they obviously have with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One owners, but the game was originally released for Xbox Series X and S and the PlayStation 5, and yet at some point it has just stopped evolving and getting to the point where it's actually like the real deal and the final finished product. In particular, I'm talking about the open world areas, which feel kinda like heartless, blurry and pale, if you can say that. I tweaked around with the settings of my TV as well, and of course on my Xbox Series X as well, but it's like a little washed out, especially on Kobo when you first arrive there, and you expect like, oh, look at this massive open world, but it isn't quite there yet. I tweaked around, like I mentioned, with the settings, and I actually know very well how to do that on my system. It's just sad to see when I dove back into the game. Okay, they stabilized the frame rate in general, and it's so much more fun to play, it's so much smoother. I'm a casual gamer and I can feel it right away, and I don't need a frame rate test or anything else for it to notice. There's no doubt on that side that this has been improved, but it also has a lot to do that they detached basically the ray tracing mode from the performance mode and disabled that in the performance mode. Makes so much more sense, because back in 2023 when I played the game the first time, I wasn't really like flashed by the ray tracing in the performance mode anyway. Maybe it was there, maybe it wasn't, I couldn't really tell, but the consoles in general, the new gen, next gen, or whatever you want to call it, they took a big hit there with the ray tracing mode in the performance mode, and it just didn't make sense. You had the option for a quality mode, which also had the ray tracing mode enabled in there, but in the performance mode, I mean, you want to target the 60 FPS, right? And you don't really need the extra ray tracing in there, because you want the performance, right? You want to have fluid gameplay, and you can achieve this, but ray tracing, performance, 60 FPS and high quality picture, I mean, there are borders and you can't go past them. These are still consoles, we have to keep that in mind. It's not a full-blown PC or anything else. And they still have problems with objects appearing and disappearing depending on which angle you look at it. And it is kind of strange, because even if we toggle quality mode or performance mode, it happens in both modes. And you would think that they would have solved those kind of issues. It kind of makes the game, when you enter the open world and you see like all those things are still loading and shaping up, and it's kind of sad to see. I mean, the game released in 2023 and it is a great game. I keep saying that. Story great, gameplay great, everything's great, but they really seem to struggle here with the engine in general. I don't know if they can't figure that out or whatever. Maybe they just should like leave certain objects out of it to make it look better, but especially in the open world, you can tell that it's maybe not their power, especially not on the, depending on the engine they're using. You still see like some washed out or ghosting picture because of, might have something to do with FSR, which in some games are just not there. If I take a look at Cyberpunk or whatever, they don't have those kind of problems. Cyberpunk had big issues. We all know that, but we don't want to get into that. But it seems like that other games can figure that out with their engine, yet EA kind of, I don't know if they just gave up on that. But if you enter, let's say, an indoor area, it seems that they really figured it out. That's their thing, I believe. It looks perfect. It's so gorgeous, even in performance mode. There's no need for quality mode in my opinion. But as soon as you go out on the open world with like plants and rocks and stuff, they really, I don't know, that messes up the gameplay feeling in general. It's kind of sad to see that they haven't figured it out by now.
Take a look at that view. Is that a giant crater? Wow. I got it so easy. Guard the cliff, crush the locals, look at the scenery. Nobody's getting past me, not without a blaster hole in him. I wonder if I'll get promoted for doing such a good job. Then I'll get the other droids to guard the cliff. Oh, but then I won't see the scenery. Now that's a dilemma.
So, all in all, it seems that EA has lost its interest in Jedi Survivor for the current gen gamers like PS5 and Xbox Series, which is super sad to see, in my opinion. The latest patch, or the last patch, was released in January this year, 2024, where they actually had some improvements, like the high contrast mode, for example. Yet it didn't help really. I tweaked around with all settings in the game, but it didn't help the washed out picture. This is kind of sad to see, because like this game has a massive and high replay value. I really enjoyed it, like giving the game a year and play it again. It's a fantastic game. It's phenomenal. Gameplay wise, story wise, like I said. But if you counter all those things we were just talking about, it is kind of sad to see, and that definitely raises the question if EA really killed this game for the new console, or if it's Respawn's fault. I don't know what it is, but I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy to see. But it's also, a lot of people talk about this, and it seems to be the new normal that unfinished games enter the market, starting off with Cyberpunk 2077. Ooh, that was a big disappointment for a lot of people out there. I actually started playing that on patch 1.5, which was great. But it is super sad to see. Cyberpunk as an example, Star Wars as an example. Yet I do believe that some games figure that out over time. Some developers, publishers, or whatever figure out their graphics and issues and whatever. They figure that out over time. But for a gamer like me who jumps into a game like a year after or a little bit later, and see this game is still not where it's supposed to be, I don't know, think about it. I mean, if you buy a product, you want a finished product, right? And I think that is also a thing that the entire industry is suffering from. But they're gonna figure that out at some point, because people are stopping pre-release, like pre-selling or whatever. The people just stop buying the stuff on day one. And I think that it is bad for the people who really, I mean, all the people who work at EA. They're probably doing a fantastic job and they work hard, and they deserve that you appreciate their game. They really deserve that, and they even would deserve that you buy the game pre-release. But I mean, what am I supposed to say if you get this kind of shit every time a game releases and it's not just finished? And think about it like this, I mean, they with the consoles, they basically only had to focus on 3 consoles, which was the PlayStation 5, which was the Xbox Series S and X, and you can't blame it on the Series S because it doesn't run well on the PlayStation either, from the videos I saw on YouTube. But think about it. I mean, it's just crazy. They only have to focus on 3 consoles. It's not PC, you know, where you have like so many specs like Nvidia, RTX 4090 Ti, blah blah blah. Where you have to optimize the game. You just have one specific console, in that case 3, and you should expect that they can manage to figure that out, at least by now. I mean, we've been talking here. This game has released in 2023, and it's kind of crazy. But you should let me know too. Am I too hard on this? I'm blaming that on EA and Respawn, or I mean, what do you think? You definitely. I read a lot of comments on YouTube or wherever, Facebook, wherever, that people are not happy with game releases in general. Yet I still pick some comments up here and there that, yeah, I pre-ordered this game and that's great. I'm really looking forward to that. I mean, this is what you will get if you pre-order the game, and I'm not against pre-ordering. I just don't do it anymore for myself, which is kind of sad because I would like to review games on day 1 or a day early or whatever. I can't do that because I can't. I don't want to spend like 80 euros or anything on a game and know already that it's not finished. But you should say something too. Just let me know in the comments below what you think, and if you haven't subscribed, it is the moment to do that now. Or if you like the video, that really helps this channel out. Have a great time gaming, and thank you for watching.